is one of history's biggest mysteries. A secret team of codebreakers laboring in near total silence, struggling to crack the nearly unbreakable. While they worked, the fate of the world hung in the balance. Imagine the pressure. But who were they? What was the mystery? And what did they accomplish? It's me. Welcome to my channel. It all started in 1939 when war broke out between Britain and Germany. The Germans had developed a new encryption machine called Enigma. As the name suggested, it seemed to make its users practically unbreakable. That's because it could generate billions of possible code combinations every single day, making it nearly impossible for enemies to decode messages. Many people tried and failed, including the Poles, French, and British. So the Germans grew confident that their communications were secure. They encoded everything from military strategies to logistics. And with each successful transmission, it seemed the Allies were one step further behind. But then the tide turned when the British introduced a brilliant mathematician named Alan Turing. He assembled a secret team of about 8,000 codebreakers and set them to work in a secluded facility in Bletchley Park, England. The mission: crack the Enigma code. Now, although the methods used were top secret, historians now know that Turing's team accomplished something extraordinary. In just over a year, they built a machine called the bomb. It could test thousands of potential Enigma settings in mere minutes, which meant they could read the German transmissions. But how did Turing do it? Well, let's start at the beginning. Let's first explore what Enigma was all about. Now, Enigma wasn't just one machine, but a family of machines, A, B, C, and D, Mark I through Mark IV. They all followed the same basic principles, but differed in some details. Basically, the operators typed letters or words on a keyboard, which activated switches. These switches were connected to a series of rotors, like wheels within wheels. Each rotor had 26 possible positions, and the rotors were wired together in a particular way. As a rotor turned, it changed the letters that came out on the other side of the machine. After passing through the rotors, the letters went through a reflector, which flipped them around and back through the rotors a second time. Then the letters appeared on a second keyboard where the recipient would type them out. What made this so complicated was that the rotors could be set in any order and moved at different speeds. Also, the wiring between the rotors could be changed to an addition. There was a plug board where operators could swap pairs of letters before they went into the machine. So if we wanted to send the message hello, we'd set the rotors, change the wiring, switch the plug board, and then type the message. Now it would come out gibberish. Even if someone captured the machine, it would be very difficult to figure out how to decode the message. In fact, it was virtually impossible until Turing and his team came along. So how did they do it? Well, first, the team needed to get their hands on an Enigma machine. They managed to obtain a German naval Enigma, the most advanced version. This gave them the outer shell of the machine, but not how it worked inside. Fortunately, the polish had already done some of the heavy lifting. They'd figured out that the rotors weren't random, but followed a certain pattern. They also knew that the rotors couldn't be in exactly the same position every day. Otherwise, the system wouldn't be secure. Since the operators could swap letters on the plug board, though, they could still make the same message look different every time. Now, once Turing and his team knew this, they built a machine to mimic the Enigma's rotors. With the help of a Polish mathematician named Marian Rejewski, they figured out the rotor order and wiring. Now, all they had to do was solve the plug board. Still, it was going to be hard since there were millions of possible combinations. But then a lucky break. One day, a German operator made a mistake. He sent the same message twice in a row. Turing's team used this intelligence to decipher the plug board, and soon they were reading German transmissions. And then the race was on. The team worked day and night to build the bomb, a machine to take over for the Polish bomb. And it worked. Instead of taking years to find the right combination, the bomb could do it in minutes. All they had to do was input a 3-letter code and the machine would go to work. This allowed the British to intercept over 70% of German U-boat communications, which helped sink many of the boats. In fact, it's estimated that during World War II, German U-boats sank about 3,000 merchant ships, carrying almost 17 million tons of cargo. If the Enigma code hadn't been broken, it's likely that many more ships would have been sunk, causing food shortages in Britain. But breaking the Enigma code did more than win the war. It also launched the computer age. You see, the bomb was an early computing machine. It used electricity to manipulate large numbers. It could store data and perform complex calculations much faster than humans. Although it was massive, occupying an entire room, it was programmable and operated with punch cards. In fact, it's considered to be the first programmable computer. After the war, Turing continued his research, helping to develop the first store-programmed computer. Unfortunately, he was prosecuted for homosexual conduct and died in 1954 at age 51. So why haven't you heard of Turing before? Well, the work at Bletchley Park was top secret. In fact, the codebreakers didn't even tell their families what they were doing. Over the years, the stories emerged. Today, Turing is considered to be the father of theoretical computer science and artificial intelligence. His contributions helped launch the digital age, which changed the world forever. In fact, historians say that breaking the Enigma code may have shortened the war by 2 years, saving millions of lives. Can you imagine a world without computers or the internet? Without Turing, that might have been our reality. At least not without Dr. Ian Q. And the work at Bletchley Park was kept secret for so long that he was prosecuted for homosexual conduct. That is why I am grateful for historians and authors who have uncovered the story of these hidden heroes and shared it with the world. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Hidden Heroes. If you did, hit subscribe for more untold stories that shaped our world. And be sure to check out the next episode, where we'll meet a forgotten pioneer who helped put men on the moon. Until then, keep thinking. Big thank you to my supporters for your support.